Thank you for joining us today for Mentor School's 4th annual Koman, Spreng, Zonneville Military Commitment Ceremony. We will begin today with the singing of our national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise as the VFW Post 9295 Color Guard presents the flags.
Sing our pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you to the VFW Post 9295 Color Guard and also to Bob Zonneville for leading our pledge. At this time, I'd like to invite Pastor Tim Potter on the stage for our prayer.
Morning. Let's pray together. Our Father and Creator, we have a lot to be thankful for each and every day. And Lord, today we have much to be thankful for in relationship to these young people who desire to surrender the next few years of their lives to support that which has brought freedom to our country for almost 250 years. We thank you, Lord, for their parents, their family members, who have done such a tremendous job unto this point, rearing them and loving and caring for them. But Lord, obviously, they've done something in that process that has caused these young people to appreciate their country and their freedom to the point where they're now willing to dedicate a portion of their life to sustaining that which underpins our freedom, sacrifice, and love and commitment. So Lord, as they go forth from these halls in the very near future to defend our freedom, I pray, Lord, for their spiritual and for their physical protection. I pray, Lord, for the same for their families. And I pray, Lord, that you would return them to us after their service, ready to serve in their respective communities with the same honor and the same dignity. We thank you for this school who sees fit to have such a ceremony as this. And may she always value that which this ceremony represents. In Christ's name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor Potter. You may have noticed that we've renamed the ceremony to honor the 3 local veterans who were very instrumental in starting this tradition. Sadly, we lost one of these great men, Bud Spreng, earlier this year. Please join me in remembering and honoring him now with a moment of silence. Thank you. Good morning again. My name is Matt Miller, Superintendent of Mentor Schools. It's truly a privilege and an honor to have the opportunity today to recognize these 9 Mentor High School students who have decided to put service before self and will enter military after graduation. As you know, the commitment these students are making to serve their country is a tremendous one that deserves this recognition. I'm going to introduce each one of the 9 gentlemen and ask them to stand so you know who that they are, in case you're not family or friend. We'll start with Matthew Auman, Thomas Frazier, Branden Livengood, Kyle Messina, Wesley Reynolds, Richard Seaton-Todd, Jared Slover, Jake Tavano, and Justin Todd-Searcy. Thank you, gentlemen. And a commitment like the one these students are making doesn't just affect themselves. I know they wouldn't be able to be here today without the support of their families. And I'm thankful you all are here to share with us in the start of their military careers as part of our Mentor Schools commitment ceremony tradition. I know a lot of the gentlemen, some of their family members had to work today and could not be released from that obligation, but for the parents, grandparents, and family members who are here, could you please stand so we could recognize you? Thank you. To today's honorees, through the recruiting process, you have shown military representatives that you have what it takes to be great servicemen. Whether signing for the Army or the Navy, active duty, Guard, or reserves, there is a lot of hard work ahead. Your commitment today is a sign of your courage and dedication, both honorable traits that will carry you far. From the Board of Education, our administrative team, myself, and all the employees here at Mentor Schools, we are very, very proud of you and cannot thank you enough for your decision to serve our country. I wish you great success in the future. At this time, I would like to invite American Legion past Commander Doug Koman and World War II veteran Mr. Bob Zonneville to the podium to share a few words of wisdom with our students today.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you. I want to share some basic statistics with you first. Population of the United States right now is around 320 million. Out of that 320 million, approximately 2.2 million are in the military. That computes down to about less than 0.5%. So what you're doing puts you in the great minority of American citizens. You're about to start on a new journey in your life, and it's one you've never experienced before. You're going to have a great deal of challenges, certainly physical challenges. You'll be asked to do things that you've never been asked to do before. The greater challenge is the mental challenge. The ability to do more than what your body is telling you can do. The ability to rise to the occasion when your body is saying, I don't want to do that, I can't do that. The great thing about the military is, and some of us might laugh, but you'll receive a great deal of encouragement to do more than what you think you can do. You'll finish your time and you'll realize that the things that you've done have made you a better person. You haven't as yet, and you will shortly, take an oath of office. And in that oath of office, there are words that all of us have said at one time in our lives. And part of it says, I solemnly swear to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. It's an oath that are just words to you right now, to those of us that have had the privilege of wearing the uniform of the service in the United States. It's something that is part of our very being. It's something that embodies the principles that we put the uniform on. And I'm sure that most every veteran in the room right now, would the veterans in the room please raise your hands, please? You can see that you are about to join a great number of veterans that actually date back to Concord and Lexington, Massachusetts. And that oath is something that all of us take dear because it embodies the principles that makes this country great. So I want to say welcome and good luck to you guys.
Good morning. Like everyone else here today, I'd like to thank all you young men. Yes, there's a young lady down there too. Thank you very much for your commitment to serving our country. The amount of honor you receive as time goes on will be determined more by circumstances than by you yourself. In our long history of our country, we've been in many wars, and unfortunately, we have not treated all veterans alike. And you are going to become a part of our fraternity, veterans. The circumstances oftentimes are different, and we forget. But what you contribute could be just as valuable as those that fought in World War II or Korea or Vietnam or wherever. Because without the fear of retaliation from our enemy abroad, I believe our situation would not be near as secure. You're kind of like our safety forces, the police departments and our fire department. We kind of forget about them until we need them, but I wonder what kind of a jungle we would be in if they weren't out there as a threat to remind us of law and order. And in a sense, that's what you're doing for our country. So I would like to thank you one and all, and I assure you, if you live to be as old as I am, you will never forget your service. I can promise you that. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. And now for this morning's keynote speaker, I'd like to introduce Captain Mike Warner. Captain Warner has spent most of his adult life in public service. He served in the U.S. Army from 1968 through 1971, including overseas tours in Vietnam, 2 tours in 19 months, and Germany for 8 months. He continued his military service as a member of the Ohio Army National Guard from 1978 through 1987. He then went on to spend 40 years in the fire service, working his way up through the ranks from volunteer firefighter to chief in Hamden Township, before accepting the position of fire chief of Concord Township in 1995, retiring as fire chief in January of 2016. In January of 2016, Warner accepted a position with the Lake County Sheriff's Office as captain in charge of Central Communications. Warner has a degree in fire science from Lakeland Community College and is a graduate of the Ohio Fire Executive Program. He received the State of Ohio Fire Marshal Hall of Fame Distinguished Service Award in September of 2015 and the Ohio VFW Firefighter of the Year Award for 2015-2016. Please help me welcome Captain Mike Warner.
Good morning. It's an honor to be here to speak to our future leaders. For nearly 2 generations, no American has been obligated to join up, and few do. Less than 0.5% of the population serves in the armed forces, compared to more than 12% in World War II. For many, the military service provides a path to American dream, opening doors for college and leadership. You're about to begin an adventure few people get to experience, because according to the Department of Defense, 75% of our 17 to 24-year-olds are ineligible to serve in the armed forces. 3/4 of all young Americans can't meet the minimum requirements for military service. The primary disqualifiers: education, crime, and physical fitness. So that's why it's such a nice honor to be part of a school system here that is going to honor people that are going to take that step forward. You are the elite and you are the best to defend our freedom for our way of life. When you take that oath of office, it never expires. You probably wonder, why am I up here? Because, well, they couldn't find anybody else older except for Bob, but the fact is, after 40 years in the fire service, it was a great life. And now I've taken on a new role in trying to be a deputy, or at least wear a different uniform. But many years ago, my time in the military was pretty important. It was tough at times, but when we were able to pull together as a team and we understood the mission, it'll go easy, because you won't regret it. I was part of a 40-man detachment after I got out of the service in the National Guard. 80% of us were Vietnam vets, and the first sergeant was a Korean War vet. We started off as C Troop with 107th Armored Cav, and then we were changed over to a maintenance detachment. Probably the best years of my life were with the National Guard unit, because we all understood what the job was, we understood what the mission was. And when we moved forward to take care of the mission, everybody pulled together. If you looked at Concord and compared it to my Army National Guard unit, you might have seen some similarities. Everybody pulls together, everybody knows the mission. And when everybody knows the mission, we work together, we pull together, and everybody worked. It was a lot in team building back then. Leadership. The Army National Guard sent me to any school I ever wanted to go to. If it hadn't been for the Army National Guard, I probably wouldn't have made it into the fire service as high as I did as a fire chief, because the fire service didn't have training programs like that. It's interesting, I was taking the ANOC and BNOC programs because I was an NCO. And those ANOC and BNOC programs were pretty tough at times, but it was all about leadership, about taking care of the troops, taking care of the people, making sure they came first, understand the mission. And so a few years later, the Ohio Fire Service invited a few of us down to Columbus to teach and become instructors for a new program called Leadership 1, 2, and 3. And when I opened the book, I went through the book, and the only thing that had changed is pictures, and instead of soldiers, it said firemen. So the Army National Guard, the military, is the opportunity for you to move forward if you take advantage of the opportunities that are going to be given to you. We were going to school on terrorism in the mid-'80s. The military knew that we were going to have a problem, and they were teaching our young soldiers about how to react to terrorism and what we could expect. The job skills. They allowed me to take schools on so I could be a medic. So I was a mechanic, a radio operator, a safety person. I went to recruiting school to become an Army recruiter. Not that I was trying to recruit people from the Army National Guard, but I was trying to recruit people into the fire service. And now I'm trying to recruit people into the sheriff's office. You will learn to tell the truth, to do your best, no matter how trivial the task is. You'll choose the difficult right over the easy wrong. Don't pursue happiness, pursue excellence. Money isn't the measure of a man. A person's real wealth is in his character. The military gave me that opportunity. I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be the person that I am today if it hadn't been for my time in the service. I'm very lucky that I've had this opportunity. But I want to give you a few tips. Things that I remember. And agony and misery are two hills. If you go to Fort Knox, you might be familiar with those by the time you're done. But you need to have a positive attitude. Your time will be one of the defining moments in your life. Make the best of it. Make yourself proud. Do the right thing, and you'll have something positive to remember for the rest of your life. Moreover, inevitably, there will be few who develop bad attitudes. Don't buy into those bad attitudes. Stay positive. And just do it. Believe it or not, there's a purpose for every silly thing the drill sergeant makes you do. I'm probably alive today because of drill sergeants. That's a fact. You can take that one to the bank. The drill sergeants made a difference. If you comply with his commands, you'll do fine. The drill instructors or sergeants are professionals, and they're the best in the world at what they do for us. And remember, it's not personal. They may make fun of you. They may pick on you a little bit, but they don't mean it most of the time. And don't eat anything you haven't been ordered, that you've been ordered not to eat. Listen, there were guys in basic training that would try to sneak stuff, and when you sneak that stuff, then you might eat more than you really wanted, like chocolate bars or something, and you might be eating more chocolate than you ever wanted, and nobody else will get any. Remember that. You don't want to mess up with your buddies. Don't draw undue attention to yourself unless you're a glutton for punishment or like living on the edge. I was told never to volunteer for anything. I didn't follow that advice when I got to Cameron Bay. I was either volunteer for KP, perimeter duty, or the worst detail of all. So I volunteered for KP, so I didn't have to go out and stir the pot. Someday you'll know what that is. Help your buddies in basic training. You'll probably hear about the importance of teamwork in the military, that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. If your buddy is struggling in a particular area, give him a hand. It takes a better man to reach down and help somebody and pull them up. Never push them down. And don't worry. Though basic training may seem impossible at first, remember that it's a process that has been successfully completed by millions of other people before you. In fact, as hard as it may seem, the drill instructor sergeants want you to succeed and graduate. The military needs people, and they don't just bring you in here to flunk you out. Most will be just as scared or as concerned as you when they're facing basic training, so help your buddies. Your decision to join the U.S. military will have life-changing implications. The lessons you learn about the military and yourself and the world around you will make an impression on you for life. When you see the American flag, hear the national anthem, and taps, your heart will fill with a sense of pride. Remember these words from General Douglas MacArthur's farewell speech: duty, honor, country. These three hallowed words reverently dictate what you ought to be and what you can be, what you will be. They are your rallying points to build courage when courage seems to fail, to regain faith where there seems to be little cause for faith, and to create hope when hope becomes forlorn. I know of no one who regrets their time in the military, and many would serve again if they'd let us. Just something about old people in the military doesn't go very well. Remember, be all you can be. Even you Navy guys, be all you can be. You are the future. My time in the military made me the person I am today. And I'm very honored, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak to these young men that are getting ready to move forward to one of the greatest thrills in their lives. The excitement will be there, and you can do anything you want. And come and see us when you get out. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Warner. Now it's time to hear more about today's honorees. We will begin with the Army. Here representing the Army National Guard is Staff Sergeant Michael Ozinga.
All right, good morning, guys. So I was sitting last night thinking about really what I wanted to say and kind of what I wanted to do with this whole presentation. To give you a little background, I grew up in Leroy, Ohio. Most of you probably don't even know it exists, even though it's about 20 miles away from here. But graduated from high school in 2002 from Riverside and decided instead of going to college, I wanted to join the military, go on active duty. So I joined as a respiratory therapist for whatever reason. I still don't know why I did that. But anyways, I got to be a respiratory therapist for a little while, realized it wasn't the choice for me, so I tried out for Special Forces for the Army, and I was a Green Beret for my final 10 years on active duty. I deployed 5 separate times to Afghanistan. I was a skydiving instructor for 3 years. I've done all the cool stuff there is to do in the military. So then my mom guilted me into moving back home, getting out of the military completely, and so I did. I was completely out of the military, and then I got presented an opportunity to serve in the National Guard, and I decided to take that opportunity. And I'll tell you what, if you would have told me 10 years ago that I would have been a recruiter when I was in Special Forces in Afghanistan kicking in doors, I'd have told you you're crazy. But I'll tell you what, these young men right here make it worth it to me. There's a lot of stuff going on in our country right now. And just to be frank with you, it's scary. And to volunteer and put yourself out there to serve in the military right now, it takes a lot of courage to step forward. Because you can ask the parents that are here, that of these people that I've enlisted, these soldiers up here, and I get done with the entire presentation, and everything, I tell them about all the benefits. You know, I tell them about the education and everything else that comes along with serving, and they always ask me the same question: what's the catch? The catch is really simple. You may have to serve your country. And I'll tell you what, right now with everything going on, that's a huge step. It's a huge leap of faith to put yourself out there and volunteer to serve. So, you know, when I was serving on active duty, I never thought I'd be a recruiter, but these young men make it easy for me to do my job. I'm extremely proud of all of them. I think it was Jared and Matt. How long ago have you guys been, or how long ago did you enlist? Almost a year, all right. And then if you've noticed, they're all friends with each other. Kind of funny how that works, all right? But providing them the opportunity to serve their country and providing them with the chance to, like our speakers were talking about, kind of move forward with their life. There's a lot of things that you're doing right now that are going to have permanent repercussions. And you probably don't realize it at this point in time, but I'm telling you, when you get to that 30-year-old age where I am, you're going to look back on your decision and you're going to be very, 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 very thankful that you made this step. And I am 100% honored to be able to provide you with that opportunity. So that's all I got. Round of applause for these young men.
Thank you, Staff Sergeant. Here representing the U.S. Navy, both active duty and Navy Reserve, is Petty Officer Ryan Lease.
Hello, I'm Petty Officer Ryan Lease. I am a recruiter here at the Menor Station. I've been doing this recruiting gig for about 7 or 8 months now. I only started in August. These 3 gentlemen are some of the first that I've had the opportunity to put into the Navy. I was able to meet Wesley Reynolds back in October, and been working with him on and off since November when he joined the service, right before Thanksgiving. And he's been able to show me the dedication and goodwill that we've been looking for in our sailors. I was able to meet Richie in the hallways, actually, of all places, randomly, between classes in December. And he ended up going in January, right at the beginning of the new year. He came in, sat down, and was ready to sign on the dotted line right after hearing it. His opportunities in the Naval Reserves and the ability to follow his grandparents into the service, who are both in the Navy, who are with us today, is something that has really been something to help him be proud, you know, to serve his country and stuff like that. And then last but not least, Justin just joined this week. Justin actually reached out to me several months ago and sat down, talked to several recruiters, and then finally decided that he would like to serve his country active duty with the United States Navy. So we were able to help him get in, and kind of a last-minute addition to this program right here. These future sailors that I've been working with for the past several months, some of them, past week or so for one of them, have gone on to show me the kind of, as I said, the dedication that it's going to take to be a United States sailor. whether it's with active duty or with the reserves. They're going to learn attention to detail. Yes sir, no sir, yes petty officer, no petty officer. There are 8 weeks at Recruit Training Command, but Chicago is really nice in the summer. So you're going to enjoy it. And for those of you staying in Chicago, it's a great place to be in the fall, as long as you get out of there before the snow starts. And then whoever's going down to Pensacola, you know who you are. That's an amazing place to be in the summer. Enjoy the beach, man. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Thank you, Petty Officer Lease. At this point, the Mentor High School Choir is going to come back up on stage. As they do, I want to give a few thank yous before we conclude today's ceremony. I want to thank the Mentor Board of Education for their continued support of this program and this ceremony. A couple board members are here today, Ms. Gisling and Ms. Miller. I also want to thank the high school administration team, Mr. Wade, Mrs. Chin, Mrs. Medjus, Mr. McKnight, Mr. McMahon, and Mrs. Wolf for coordinating all the efforts, and obviously Mrs. Kirby too for coordinating all this and making all of this happen. I want to thank our local vets who were able to come out to tonight, and also to our partners at the City of Mentor, Fire Department, Police Department, obviously City Council, big presence today, and I really appreciate that, and our Lake County Commissioners too, who were able to attend. I want to thank a couple final thank yous to the VFW Post 9295 for the color guard, and certainly the Pastor Potter and also the gentleman immediately to my right for their efforts today. With that, we're going to have the choir sing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
On behalf of these young recruits and boots, you are dismissed, and certainly God bless America.